Welcome to a world where violence reigns supreme and fear is a constant companion. Today we delve into the dark underbelly of Mexico's organized crime scene, the Los Zetas cartel. This notorious group, once considered one of the most powerful and ruthless in the world, has left an indelible mark on the nation. The Los Zetas cartel emerged in the late 1990s as a group of former Mexican Special Forces soldiers who defected to work for the Gulf Cartel. These soldiers, known for their discipline and brutality, quickly rose through the ranks and eventually formed their own criminal organization. Unlike many other Mexican cartels, Los Zetas was not primarily involved in drug trafficking. Instead, they focused on extortion, kidnapping, and human trafficking. Their military background gave them a distinct advantage over rival gangs, as they were highly trained in combat tactics and weaponry. This unique combination of criminal activities and military expertise made Los Zetas a particularly dangerous and formidable force. The rise of Los Zetas had a devastating impact on Mexican society. Their reign of terror led to widespread violence, human rights abuses, and economic instability. The cartel's activities also contributed to the displacement of thousands of people, as entire communities were forced to flee their homes. The violence and fear created by Los Zetas had a profound psychological impact on the population, leading to widespread trauma and anxiety. Heriberto Lascano, a charismatic former Mexican Special Forces soldier, was the founder of Los Zetas. Heriberto Lascano, known by his alias Lascano, was the charismatic founder of the Los Zetas cartel. A former Mexican Special Forces soldier, Lascano played a pivotal role in the cartel's rapid rise to power. His leadership, strategic thinking, and ruthless efficiency made him a feared and respected figure within the criminal underworld. His leadership and strategic thinking were instrumental in the cartel's early success. Miguel Angel Trevino, often known by his alias Z40, was a ruthless and ambitious drug lord who rose to become one of the most powerful figures in the Los Zetas cartel. His reign of terror was marked by extreme violence, corruption, and a complete disregard for human life. Morales, a ruthless and ambitious leader who took over the cartel after Lascano's death, was known for his brutal tactics and his willingness to use extreme violence to achieve his goals. Under his leadership, Los Zetas became even more powerful and feared. Los Zetas rapidly expanded their territory throughout Mexico, establishing a presence in key drug trafficking routes and strategic locations. They formed alliances with other criminal organizations, including the Gulf Cartel and the Sinaloa Federation, while also engaging in fierce rivalries with groups like the Knights Templar and the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. This expansion and consolidation of power allowed Los Zetas to control vast swaths of territory and dominate the criminal landscape in many parts of Mexico. In addition to drug trafficking, Los Zetas expanded their criminal activities to include extortion, kidnapping, human trafficking, and even the illegal mining of precious metals. This diversification of revenue streams made the cartel even more powerful and resilient, as it allowed them to weather economic downturns and avoid relying solely on drug trafficking. Los Zetas became notorious for their brutal tactics, including beheadings, torture, and the forced disappearance of their victims. These acts of violence were designed to intimidate rivals and maintain control over their territories. The cartel's former military members gave them a significant advantage in terms of combat capabilities, allowing them to carry out complex military-style operations. This made Los Zetas a formidable force on the battlefield and helped them to maintain control over their territory. Los Zetas used fear and intimidation to maintain control over their territories, forcing local businesses and communities to pay protection money. This extortion racket generated significant revenue for the cartel and helped to fund its operations. The cartel's ability to instill fear in the population was a key factor in their success. The Los Zetas cartel's rise to power and subsequent downfall is a cautionary tale of unchecked ambition, brutality, and the devastating consequences of organized crime. Following the death of Miguel Angel Trevino Morales in 2013, Los Zetas experienced a period of intense internal strife as various factions fought for control of the organization. These power struggles weakened the cartel and made it more vulnerable to attacks from rival groups and government forces. The internal divisions within Los Zetas also made it difficult for the cartel to coordinate its activities and maintain control over its territory. As a result of the government crackdown and internal divisions, Los Zetas lost much of its territory and influence. Other criminal organizations, such as the Jalisco New Generation Cartel and the Knights Templar, filled the power vacuum created by Los Zetas' decline. The loss of territory and influence made it difficult for Los Zetas to maintain its dominance over the drug trade and extort businesses and communities. The fragmentation of Los Zetas led to the emergence of several new factions, each vying for control of the cartel's remaining territory and resources. These factions included the Zetas Viejas, Old Zetas, the Zetas Nuevas, Manu Zetas, and the Cartel de los Zetas. The internal divisions within Los Zetas made it difficult for the cartel to effectively combat rival groups and government forces. Despite its decline, Los Zetas remained a dangerous and violent organization. The cartel's former members continued to engage in criminal activities, including drug trafficking, extortion, and kidnapping. The ongoing violence associated with Los Zetas contributed to the instability and insecurity in many parts of Mexico. The decline of Los Zetas did not bring an end to the violence and suffering caused by organized crime in Mexico. Other criminal organizations, such as the Jalisco New Generation Cartel and the Knights Templar, filled the power vacuum left by Los Zetas. The ongoing violence and instability had a devastating impact on Mexican society, leading to widespread human rights abuses, economic decline, and displacement of communities. The challenges of combating organized crime and building a safer future for Mexico remain significant. The legacy of Los Zetas serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of criminal violence and the importance of addressing the root causes of crime. To prevent future tragedies like the rise of Los Zetas, it is essential to invest in education, job creation, and social programs to build a stronger and more resilient society. Despite extensive efforts by the Mexican government and security forces, the roots of organized crime in the country are not easily eradicated. After the collapse of Los Zetas, smaller and more independent groups emerged, each seeking to gain power and control over different regions. This fragmentation made the fight against organized crime even more complex. The legacy of Los Zetas is a stain on Mexican history. This criminal organization, with its brutal and ruthless tactics, instilled fear and terror in the hearts of the people and caused the displacement of thousands. In addition to the loss of life and financial damage, Los Zetas undermined public trust in the government and judicial institutions. Los Zetas is a clear example of the destructive power of organized crime. This criminal organization demonstrated how violence, threats, and corruption can be used to dominate parts of a country. However, the collapse of Los Zetas shows that no criminal group can remain powerful forever. To eradicate organized crime, a collective and sustained effort is needed. The fight against organized crime is a great and complex challenge, but it is not impossible. By adopting a comprehensive and sustainable approach, a safer and better future can be achieved for the people of Mexico. It was Los Zetas Cartel Rise and Fall, and you watched Criminal Look YouTube channel. Don't hesitate to hit a like.